Yo, guys, what's up? And welcome back to the Marvelous Chats podcast. This is episode 125 of the cast. Tonight on the cast is myself, Finto, and Alex, aka Zaberwolf. We're going to be going through some spoiler free talk about Dune Part 2. We're going to talk about some Superman leaks for the DCU and Spider-Man 4 and any other nerdy news in between. Tonight, we're live on YouTube and Twitch. And if you're listening to us on a replay or you're checking us out on any of the podcasting apps like Apple or Spotify, make sure to leave a follow or a review, anything to help us out, leave a comment, any of that stuff. So without further ado, here we go. Yo, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on, man?
How are you?
Doing all right, doing all right. Just getting over, trying to get over this cough. I think it's not going away, dude. Like, and this isn't like the cough that we usually get. You know how
Okay.
it's like a normal cough. It's like okay, maybe it's allergies or something. Nah, dude, I feel it like right here in the chest. Like it's
Mm.
just irritated.
Is it
Um,
flat? It's like phlegmy.
no, no,
Oh,
it's not at all. Really, like it
raspy.
doesn't like. It's kind of like something scratching it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Okay.
when I went to the doctor, they're like, take these antacid pills, take this for the cough, and like if it doesn't work, then come back in about a week or
Okay.
two. It's been about 2 weeks now, and it still hasn't gone away. So,
Okay.
the weird thing about it, dude, is like I usually go there. They'll be like, it's probably like inflammation or something.
Mm.
Maybe you have an infection. Like here's the Z-Pack or like some sort of antibiotic, and they'll set you up and it goes away. So like I'm just surprised that they didn't do that. They were just like, here's antacid pills, here's a cough drop,
Okay.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder, like, you might have like a chest. Well, I don't know. I suppose if you had like a chest infection, it'd be very phlegmy and I don't know why I'm talking to you like I'm a doctor or I know what I'm talking about. I have no idea, bro. I just know you suffer with it a lot, and I know you were telling me before you've got asthma, right? So I wonder, is it just like an asthma thing that's just keeping the cough around or whatever? I don't really know.
Well,
I'm
the strangest thing about it is like I'll wake up and immediately be snotty as hell, and
Yeah,
like
that's been
almost
me
like
the
it's
last
just
couple of.
super runny.
Mine's not runny, right? And I can't believe we're talking about this, but for the last maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, I will just have like when I wake up in the morning, like my nose won't be runny, but like I'll have a lot of like buildup in it. And if I blow my
Mhm.
nose, I feel like I can breathe again. It's weird.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like I don't feel like my nose is blocked or stuffed up, but then it's like the relief I get when I blow my nose is absolutely crazy.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. Like both of my kids have runny noses. So I know, and my girlfriend was sick as well. Like, so I know there's definitely shit in the air for sure, but yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? It could be some fucking low grade fucking flu or COVID variant or something. I just don't know. The world's messed up. Anyway, on to business. The cast tonight, we're going to talk about Dune Part 2. So Dune Part 2 is kind of taking over the internet right now. I haven't seen it yet, and we had a little discussion before the cast started, and you had said that you don't really have any interest in seeing it and you haven't seen the first one. So it's going to be interesting, right? Because I saw the first part, Dune Part 1. I don't think I ever saw the original. So there was like an original movie in like 1984. Patrick
Mhm.
Stewart's in it and stuff. And like my dad would tell me like that movie was like kind of revolutionary for its time. I've never seen it, and I've seen clips of it, and I'm like, oh, that's just something that's so old that I just can't watch it now. It would make me shiver. But this new Dune, like I think it premiered during the week, maybe start towards the start of the week was when people were getting to see the previews and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I follow a lot of guys over on like TikTok and stuff who like do movie reviews and like Sean talks movies, the dude who we had on the podcast before. He got a chance to go see a preview of it as well. And all these guys are throwing around words like masterpiece and cinematic history and all these crazy, crazy words, right? And I went on and I think IMDb was allowing reviews, but then they turned the reviews off and now they've switched them back on that it's out publicly. But I got to see a couple of the reviews that were in. There was a score of like 9.4, which is like the highest rating of all time. And they switched it off, let the reviews come in. But if you could scroll down and read them, and all I was seeing was like 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Like it was crazy, like best movie I've ever seen, blah, 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 blah. Speak of the devil himself, he's in the chat. What's up, Sean? How are you? um, what's up, dude? Yeah, look, I did get a chance. Me and Sean have been talking in DMs during the week as well. I tried to book this movie to see it this weekend in IMAX. I said I won't go anywhere near a normal screen. I said I have to go see it in my favorite screen in the country. I said this movie, from what I've been hearing, I need to give it the justice that it deserves, and I need to see it in the best possible way. So I said I'm going to wait until next weekend to see it. So I have my tickets booked for the 9th. It's the 3rd of February as we're doing this live now. I gotta wait until the 9th, but it's one of those movies where I don't think spoilers are gonna like show up on my timeline or anything like that. It's like a movie that I think people just are collectively saying that they just need to go see. People aren't like trying to ruin the plot and all that sort of thing. Like like when a Marvel movie comes out, you have to see it in the first weekend, otherwise it's just like everything is up online, like TikToks made about it, and you see all the after credit scenes and everything. It's just completely ruined on you. Whereas this movie,
Right.
I haven't seen any spoilers yet, which is great. It's been out a couple of days now, but I checked it just before we went live on IMDb. I don't really trust Rotten Tomatoes. I'm more of an IMDb man myself. I just think it's more accurate. You know what I mean? Like I think Rotten Tomatoes, like there's just so many skewed scores, especially critical scores. There's so many skewed scores where it's like a movie that I think is absolutely brilliant, it gets like a really low score, and then like the audience score and the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, they're always so different. I'm just like it doesn't hold up for me. But seriously, this movie, I checked it today, 82,000 votes on IMDb, and it's sitting on a 9 out of 10, which is
That's
actually it's one of the
that's
highest
really
rated
good.
it's one of the highest rated movies of all time.
Dude, that's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah,
It's just strange to me, man. Like I know that a lot of people were hyped about seeing like a Doom remake. And then the other majority of people, not sorry, the other half of the people are like, why do we need a remake? We don't need to remake some things like this. It's already a masterpiece to begin with. But it's just the idea behind redoing the shots so that they could have a lot more to work with in terms of like visuals, the scenery, like everything that you can work with audio. Like it's
yeah.
probably going to be like 10 times better,
Mhm.
but will it really captivate the same way that it did originally? And so it sounds like it did with part 2. So
Yeah.
I mean, it like I'll check out part 1, and if I like it, I'll let you know if I'll get a ticket.
So for me, part one was fine. I went to see it on the big screen. I saw it in IMAX. Um, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. And when I left the cinema, I was kind of like, yeah, that was fine. I was kind of like, Zendaya, I remember, was like really bigged up in the promo for the first one, and she's in like the last 10 minutes of the movie. I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, why is she like front and center? It kind of felt weird to me. So I did enjoy the first one. Like it's a all-star cast. Cast is stacked. Like everybody's in this. Like Batista's in it. Jason Momoa. This is just part one. Like Jason Momoa. Josh Brolin's in it. Fucking dude who plays Moon Knight. What's his name again? I can't think of his name right now.
Oh,
Jesus.
Oscar Isaac.
Yes, he's in it. Like we got Timothy Chalamet and Day. It's like you're looking, you read the cast, and it's just like A list, A list, A list. Like you know what I mean? Like all these like current stars. And the part two is even better. Part two's got like all them plus more. You know what I mean? So it's an all star cast. The second part I hear is just so much better than the first. So I'm very excited. I gotta say, like, the hype seems very real. Like, I'm sure after us talking about this on our phones, sitting here listening to us as they do, I'm sure you'll boot up TikTok later tonight, and all you'll be seeing is like masterpiece, masterpiece. This is the best movie ever, you know. So it's hilarious, man. And like, I haven't been this excited for a movie in a while, which is wild, you know. Sean in the chat here. What the film you walked out of the stream on Blanche? My ears were ringing for 1 hour after it ended. It's gonna blow you away. Oh, bro, I cannot wait. So for anyone who may have missed the episode where Sean was on the cast, Sean has a great TikTok channel. I'm gonna give him a quick shout out here. Sean talks movies. Go check him out. But he does these movie reviews on, like the Dublin cinemas and stuff. And I told him to go to the screen that I would consider my favorite, and he went. It jumped to the top of the list. It's now his favorite as well. Absolute legend. But go check him out. Basically, yeah, I'm very excited to see it because it in my opinion it is the best viewing experience that we can get in our country right now anyway. and it's just leather recliners, big massive IMAX screen, proper Dolby sound. Like as Sean says, like your ears will be bleeding after it. Like I can't wait. And just from what I've heard, this movie is an absolute fucking spectacle, like stunning, 10 out of 10. So I'm very very excited. But I'm even more excited to hear what you think. So let me know how you get on. Obviously with part one, I'm gonna
Yeah, of
rewatch
course.
part one as well during the week. I might try and watch it on Wednesday. Usually Wednesday I'm not live anywhere, so I usually take a night off. Me and the missus chill. So we'll probably watch Dune part one. I think it's 2 hours 35. I think I checked it the other day. It's on Netflix for us over here.
Mhm.
So yeah, 2 hours 35. I'll watch it. I'll have it fresh in my mind, and then I'm gonna go into part two. So I find as well, like with movies like that, I usually don't rewatch them, and I've always say to myself that it's a mistake and I should have done a refresher before you go into part two, especially when it's something that I don't know the lore of too well. Again, I never watched the original movie. I hear that the series, like I think it's a series of books, like the books go crazy after like the first trilogy. And I think what makes Dune a bit different to the likes of say Star Wars, which I think Star Wars was very heavily influenced by the original Dune book, which is again very interesting. But um what I find interesting about Dune is obviously they did the original movie and they've got it a book series and stuff, but they didn't really do a second movie as far as I know, or like a third movie. Like whereas, it'd be weird if you tried to reboot Star Wars in 2020, and start again and cast a new Luke and all this stuff, because Star Wars obviously continued on throughout the years. Whereas this is probably a good time to reboot something like this, because obviously, a lot of people who are going to the cinema today probably haven't even seen the original one, don't know who the cast are, so on. So it's like a fresh experience for them. And I think that's how I have viewed it, because I didn't see the originals and I've never read the books or anything like that. So I'm viewing it as a kind of first time viewer. So I'm very interested to see how it does. I checked the box office because again, I love doing that. I love checking the numbers. I think globally when I checked it, it was on like 178 million, which I thought was very low. But I don't know if the weekend numbers are actually fully totted in yet. So I'll check it again tomorrow. But I'm expecting this movie to cross a billion just through word of mouth, because if you get enough people saying this is the greatest movie I've ever seen, this is the greatest movie of all time, this is cinematic history, you need to see it in IMAX, blah blah blah. I think you're going to get a lot of people going to see it. People who maybe might have said before, I'll wait for it to go up on Netflix, or I'll wait for a digital release and I'll watch it at home. For people to say like, this needs to be seen in IMAX, this is cinematic history. I think a lot of people will go, actually, yeah, look, we should probably do a day night and go see this, like with their partners or whatever.
Hmm.
So I'm curious. I'm curious. Yeah.
Did it and this already released? Is that what you're saying?
Part two is out now. Yeah, I think it was released on Friday. Maybe that was like the official day one. But I think a lot of people, especially all the TikTok guys, they seem to all get like preview screenings of it and stuff like that. And I know Sean in the chat, he got a chance to go to a preview screening of it as well. So a lot of the reviews, a lot of the like greatest of all time stuff was coming out during the week before it had officially hit theaters. So I think it's only out 2 days though, officially to the
Yeah.
public.
From what it looks like, budget was 190 million. Box office is already reaching about 180 million, so it's already about to make about the same that it did for the budget. So it still needs more
Yeah.
to break even, but it sounds like with all the sales going on that
Oh,
it
bro.
should catch up no problem
Yeah.
by the end of the week, I would say, or
Yeah, 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 I
by
think
the
so.
end by tonight, by tomorrow or something.
I'll check it again.
And
I'll check it again this time tomorrow, and I'd say it'll pass 200 easily,
yeah, of
easily,
course.
easily. But like, I suppose like if the box office only starts on day one of like the official release, I don't know if there's like preview screenings on a Thursday that really count. I don't think so. I'm not sure, but for it to make nearly 200 million, if like to nearly make back the budget in 2 days is very impressive for something that's not like an Avengers movie these days. Because they seem to be the only ones that are bringing in mad money.
Um, I would
And Barbie.
say, I would say it should count because a lot of people like to watch things early. Like I know that the premiere is supposed to be on Friday, but to have an early screening on Thursday is like fantastic. Like a lot of the
Yeah.
times when you watch something, I've already watched it like ahead of you because I wanted to get a ticket for the preview, like for a
Yeah, of
previous
course.
screening, which is
Yeah.
really nice. Like, and you know, you get to see all the people who are so excited for movies like this
Mhm.
like just pile into the theater. And so like when it came to things like the Avengers movies and certain other films like from Marvel, it comes in like really close together, like it's packed. And
Yeah.
when you see it on Friday, it's still sort of packed because like of course it's the weekend, but I don't think it's as like energetic as us like being nerds want to show up,
Bro, like again, like having young kids has kind of ruined the whole midnight showing thing for me. But because like my girlfriend like would be like so tired and at night, and she'd be like not really wanted to go. But like we have gone to a good few advanced screenings, like midnight shows, and like the crowd that's there is just it's all the biggest nerds. Like like I think we saw Infinity War at a preview screening at midnight. You know what I mean? And you're
Mhm.
sitting there watching it at like 2:30 in the morning, and everyone's just screaming their heads off, like just like in disbelief at what's happening. Like oh, like it's a special time. It's a great place to be. Like if anyone hasn't been to a midnight showing of like something like a DC movie or something like that, like that has a cult following, try and get to one just to experience it because it is absolutely sensational. Like you'll have people dressed up and like I've definitely done Star Wars once before, and people are like rocking lightsabers in the middle of the movie, like and like
Spectacular, man.
just before the movie starts, there's lightsabers in the air, and then everything shuts off, and it's brilliant. People dressed up as stormtroopers and all, like so, it's fantastic. I love it, but just having young kids, it's so hard to get people, especially like on a Thursday night. Especially like if I'm in work on the Friday morning and I can't be like, expecting my parents to watch the kids and knocking into the house at 3 o'clock in the morning to pick them up. Like, it's just not
Right.
realistic, especially with the baby. So yeah, it's tough, man. It's really tough. But I think if there's something that I really, really want to go see, I might have to just, tell her, look, I'll go see it a second time with you, but I might go to a midnight screening alone or something. Or like try and get a friend of mine or something to go with me. But man, I miss those days. I do. I really do. But hey,
Yeah.
family life. This is
Yeah.
it.
I mean, you're happy regardless. So I
Oh
mean,
no, of
it's
course, Jesus.
what's
Like
what's what's
I
one
just
more
miss
day, you know? Like
it. I know, but I do like try and get like tickets to shows like on day one and stuff because obviously we do the podcast. But yeah, for some reason I was just a little late for this movie and all of the IMAX screen. Like so again, I only want to go to one screen, so it's screen 9 in this theater that I go to, and every
mhm,
single IMAX show in that screen was sold out this week. I couldn't get to a showing at all, and then next week, even like midweek, I was gonna like see if we could go on Wednesday evening, and again sold out on Wednesday too. I was like, holy shit. So it literally was the first kind of available slot I could get was like 1:30 in the afternoon on Saturday, which is a kind of weird time to go as well. Like it's not I usually prefer to go at night, but because it's usually a bit quieter, but I
mhm.
was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna get this is the first one I could see with good seats. I was like, book it. I was like, I need to get this done. And like that's the first time in a long time that I've seen a movie sell out in a week in advance in that screen, in that IMAX screen. Like usually you can pick up tickets. If it's not day one, you'll get tickets to day two. But like, and I was doing this like days before, but it was still too late. So I obviously missed. Sometimes like the cinema chain will send me emails going like, you can pre-order tickets now. But then I never got an email for Dune 2. And I must have just missed it by a couple of days. And there's literally at the screen, every showing of it just sold out. Crazy. Like, which is just wild to think, especially in Ireland. It's wild to think like there's some serious demand to see this movie, which is great.
That's really great. Also, I just wanted to pull back on the gross. The gross income from the preview screenings do count towards
Yeah.
the total. So anything that happens on Thursday, it carries over. So
Yeah.
that's in total, including Thursday. So I think it's gonna do well. It sounds like it's already doing a massive job just bringing people in.
Yeah.
Um, I'm I'm not like familiar with the books, like I've said before. I'm not familiar with the show itself. I have no idea what it's about. A lot of memes, I would say, are mainly designed to like kind of sway me in that same situation of like it's Star Wars, similarly to Star Wars, but it's just with a different setting of like war and whatnot because
Yeah.
it's a spice war. Um,
Yeah.
essentially like what we've seen in the Book of Boba Fett, and I know that like that's a thing that's known in the Star Wars universe is that there's spice,
Yeah.
and that it's apparently like this really hot commodity, and so I'm like all right, so it's Star Wars, but in a different setting. So like it didn't that really didn't interest me,
Yeah.
but like I said, I'll take a look at the movie. see if I like the first movie. At the very least, if I'm interested, I will go see the second movie.
I think you should, and I think to be honest, right? Let's again. I don't
I'm
want to.
I
I don't
no, no,
want you
no,
to
no,
spend.
no,
I don't want
Finto,
you to spend money
like,
where you don't
no,
want to.
Finto,
But I think
tell me,
you.
talk yes, tell
Okay.
me, just be like, "Bro, go watch the movie. We're gonna talk about it on the podcast." Like, that's all you gotta do. Tell me
No,
that.
no, no.
I'll
I'm
fucking
just
I'll do
saying.
it.
I think that even if you dislike part one, from what I've seen, I just don't think 82,000 people are wrong in giving this a 9 out of 10. It's got to be one of the highest rated movies of all time on IMDb. I'm like, I even think if you don't like part one, I still think you need to see part two. I think this actually, what people are saying, I think this could go down in the books. Like this could be cinematic history. So I think you need to go see it, even if you don't like part one. Yeah.
For every 82,000 people, there will be one person that doesn't like it.
I haven't gone through since I haven't gone through it yet, like recently, but I didn't see one bad review when the previews, like when the previews were out before, like obviously the general public started
Yeah.
seeing it. But I'm curious to see, is there any 1 stars or 2s or 3s? I'll have a flick through it tomorrow while I'm working or whatever. But I don't think there will be, man. I think
Hey,
I
I
think it's
mean,
crazy.
you like it's not there's no perfection. There's never been a movie
Of
that's
course,
been
of
absolutely
course.
perfect. So like you're bound to see at least one or two within the sea of hundreds. So if it's fantastic, then of course it's gonna have majority of positivity. The ones that are probably scragglers are the ones that are like, oh, the seats were terrible. I was uncomfortable throughout the time that I was watching it. And but they won't convey that. They'll put in their review that they just hated it because such and such happened in the movie and they didn't like it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times I think it's just because they were uncomfortable during the movie. Because sometimes sometimes things that happen within the theater can throw you off in the immersion so badly that
Oh
you
yeah.
just absolutely hate the movie.
I've had cinematic experiences where I will, there'll be like some teenagers sitting near me and they're just like throwing popcorn around and talking shit and trying to fucking just start trouble. And I could be watching like an amazing movie and the movie will just be the whole experience will just be so shit because like these little shit bags have just ruined it for everyone in the screen. So I fully understand. Or like, you get like a really uncomfortable seat, or there's a tall person sitting in front of you. Like there's like so many things that can happen. Like, have you ever been in the cinema like that? And like this, the biggest guy that you've ever seen in your life comes down and he sits right in front of you, and you're just like, for fuck's sake, like, what are the odds?
Luck Luckily the since I've moved here, that's not been a problem. I think they've really fixed the platforming, so it's a lot
Yeah,
higher up
yeah,
for each section. So it makes it so much less like of a detriment. So you like
yeah,
I've seen tall people sit in front of me before in over here, but yeah, back in California when it was still like the old school theaters that were super
yeah,
scrunched
yeah,
up, yeah, there was
yeah.
no way you were gonna get blocked.
Same thing happens in concerts as well. It's like the tallest guy around you will always be standing right in front of you, like, or like
That's
standing like completely blocking your girlfriend or something. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake! It's like then you try
right.
to move, and it's like another tall person arrives. You're like, fuck. But
That's why
yeah,
I
like
like
you're
that's
dead
why I
right,
like
dude.
putting in dead right on the like the seating on the
Yeah,
platforming.
yeah. Because like
Yeah.
since I've started going to the theaters with like the recliners only, it's impossible to get blocked now.
Yeah.
Because they're well spaced out, they're well adjusted, like on height levels and stuff. So it's literally impossible. Like even if people stand up, you can kind of still see around them. Like,
See, and my favorite spots in theaters for like plays and musicals and whatnot are the seats that are like front row between like the walk sections
mm,
because then it's like this gap
yeah,
and then you have like this whole free space you can put your legs out. I like to be on the corner section because if I need to go use the restroom, I'm not going to like walk in front of people.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but like a lot of the times, like my bladder's pretty good about it. Like it'll shut its mouth and I'll,
Oh
I'll be able to get through the whole 3 hours.
yeah, dude. Um, yeah, I used to like sitting on on the actual aisle in the cinema, but like you're always at the right or left, and I don't know. I'm kind of a stickler for trying to get the best experience possible now. So I'm like, I'm not going to sacrifice this. Like I'm going to go like dead center. Like, and especially with the recliners and stuff, like people can't sit on top of you anymore. So
Right.
it's not as big a deal as it used to be. Like you get some dude coming in like who's like a big giant dude and he'd be like throwing his elbows on your armrest and stuff. Like those days are over. Like thank God. But I used to hate that shit, man. And like I'd be like, okay, let's go back row, and like we'll try and sit on the aisle, or we'll sit in the middle. And then if people sat beside us, we'd try and move if there was seats like around us that were free after the film started and stuff. Like, and now you just like you sit in your seat, you don't even think about that shit anymore. Like the
Right,
viewing
because
experience
it's
has finally evolved. Thank God.
I'm much more comfortable for
Yeah,
sure. And
yeah,
to be honest, like I still like to buy multiple seats if possible. But
mhm,
now that I've reached this point of noticing that if I were to get the tickets early, if I just get the fucking all the way in the back to the right
yeah,
to the very right on the left side or to the very left on the right side, there's a gap in between that nobody can get to. So it's barred
yeah,
off. So like literally I'll sit on on the far end on either side and there'll
yeah,
be no one bothering me. Katie's okay with it. She's like, I don't care like if someone sits next to me. I'm like, I do. I want to be comfortable. I want to put my stuff over here. I want to basically treat it like it's a couch. Like I just want to put my
yeah,
shit right here, put my stuff over here, get my pillow,
yeah. I had
comfortable.
one of my friends growing up. His family are quite wealthy, like they're very well off. And his older brother, like he was a very big dude, like, and he used to go to the cinema. But what he would do, he'd go by himself, and he'd buy 3 seats, and he would free up the seat to his right and left,
Mhm.
and he'd put like his food on one, and then like his jacket on another. And like some people would come in sometimes and be like, oh, can I sit here or whatever, like, and he'd be like, nah, seat's taken. I've, whatever, there's someone sitting there. And he would literally, he'd be sitting like in the center row, 3 seats booked, and he would just be flaked out, not giving a shit. I always respected it so much. I was like, I could never justify buying 3 seats for myself, but these guys didn't have to worry about money, so fuck it, why not?
Well, and I don't know if you have like a Regal Cinema, like any of the any of the theaters that are like attached to malls or anything of the sort, anything that's kind of small.
Mm,
Those are like perfect. Like you get one, you only need to buy one ticket. The seats aren't perfect, but the arms go up. So if you go in there and it's dead and you're all the way in the back, just lay out.
chill out, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Nice. Um, yes, look, next week on the cast, we'll do like a kind of full breakdown of Dune Part 2, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on 1 and 2. So I suppose we can kind of move on to the next topic of the night. Did you see um the Superman logo and leaks that came out during the week?
I did not.
So in the thumbnail for this episode on YouTube, I have like a kind of bit of the shield that's up, like so, like his S emblem on the chest, like it's kind of looks more like the what's it called? There's like a variant of Superman. He's like Kingdom something Superman. Like it's very kind of like that logo. There's a couple of pictures. I probably shouldn't do this, but I will. There's a couple of pictures that came out. I'll throw them up on the screen here for anyone who's watching us on YouTube. But um, if you're listening to us, sorry about this. But hey,
Ah, you can check us out on video. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
We're everywhere.
yeah. Come over and watch. So yeah, like this is what it looks like. Where is it? There we go. Check that out. That's the new suit. So David Cornsweet wearing the suit. It's like kind of the S logo is. I'm trying to think of the comic run that it's from, but it's very kind of old school comic, like the blue and the shorts and everything, the red shorts.
Oh yeah, like that looks pretty good.
I think it looks good too. I show my girlfriend this, and she just goes, "That's just looks exactly like Henry Cavill. What the fuck?" I was
It's
like, "I know, I know."
it's really like to be completely honest, it's really not hard to do Superman. It's just like you just got to get the right kind of face to it, like, and then just do the hair, and then you're good.
Yeah, that's like the logos back, like Snyder's versus James Gunn's.
It's a lot sharper in the new one, which I think will be kind of interesting. I think a lot of
Yeah,
people might dislike it at the beginning, but then realize like, oh, it's okay, so it's based off of a different variant of Superman, essentially.
yeah. I
Because you
think
were saying it's based off of Kingdom Come.
yeah, he's like the Kingdom Come Superman. Well, that's like
Yeah,
definitely
I could see
definitely the
that.
logo.
Yep.
Like for anyone who doesn't know, here it is on the screen as well. Um, Superman Kingdom Come logo. Like that's basically it, right? And they did
Mhm.
on the CW as well. They brought back Brandon Roth, which I thought was epic because I love Brandon. But they brought him back to do like a Kingdom Come variant during like a multiverse event, and it was sick. He was so good. That was him in the suit and all. He was fucking brilliant, bro. I
That's
loved it.
awesome.
Yeah, it was really good because like he did that one movie in like 2006, the Superman Returns. It was not received well at all, and he basically he got it. It was a one and done for him, unfortunately. But
Mm.
um, it was really nice to see him kind of get a shot again. And I think there's rumors of potentially him getting a chance to do that version of Superman again somewhere. I don't know if it was going to be like as an appearance in a movie or if it was going to be on TV or something. But I'm all for it, dude. I love him. I love him. He's fantastic. He's a really nice dude as well. Like if you're into kind of following celebrities, like he's a really nice guy. He's been on a couple of podcasts and stuff like that. He seems like a real down to earth dude as well. So I'm happy to see him get to kind of do it properly. I don't know if you've seen like any of the casting or anything for that movie. Like it's for anyone who doesn't know, it is the kickoff point of the reboot of the DC EU, and they're just calling it the DCU now. So you're gonna have the MCU and the DCU going forward. And James Gunn is writing it and directing it, and like he's hired Nathan Fillion to play one of the Green Lanterns and stuff, and the casting is actually pretty fucking spot on. He's got Nicholas Hoult playing Lex Luthor, and he shaved his head and everything. He's going in as bald Lex and all. And like the woman that they hired to play Lois Lane looks really good as well. Jimmy Olsen, perfect cast. Who did I see? Oh my god, they casted Perry White during the week. I can't remember who they casted him. Oh my god, who did they cast? I can't think of the
Very
guy's name,
white.
but I just saw it, and I just said, yeah, perfect casting. Like, so, I gotta give props to Gunn, like he or whoever is doing the casting for this movie, like they're fucking spot
Nice.
on. Yeah, I can't think of. I don't know if you're googling it, but
Uh,
it's very good.
I can't really see anybody in particular.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
Google it now. Sorry about
nobody's cast. James Gunn Superman changes title, adds Wendell Pierce as Perry White.
Yes. Wendell Pierce, yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, if you watch like The Wire, he was in The Wire and he was in Suits. He played Rachel Zane's dad in Suits, and he's in the Amazon show with John Krasinski, the Jack Ryan show.
Mhm.
He's fucking brilliant in that as well. So he's gonna be Perry, which I think is really
That
cool. But it's a
yeah,
good
that's a good
casting.
idea. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I like it. Yeah, look, I'm excited. You know, the movie's out next year. I think it's out the same weekend as it's like very close to Deadpool, which I think is a terrible idea for DC. Um, I think it's releasing in July, and so is Deadpool, if I'm not mistaken, right? Oh no, sorry, Deadpool's out this year. Sorry,
Yeah,
it's
it's this
clashing.
year.
It's clashing with something in the MCU. I can't think. Sorry, I don't know if it's Thunderbolts or something. It's clashing with an MCU movie, and I don't think it's a good idea.
If it's Thunderbolts, then they're not going to worry about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Um, Spider-Man 4 news, if you want to talk about it. I was just watching a video today. Shout out to my boy down in Nerds. He got me super hyped. But there's a bit of kind of goss going around about Spider-Man 4. If you want to hear
I don't want to hear it. Just kidding, man.
it.
Like, of course I want to hear it.
Well, tough shit. You're hearing it. So there's been a lot of like kind of rumors going around about Spider-Man 4. How we talked about it last week on the cast. How there's going to be, Sony want to do one thing, Marvel want to do another. They're kind of clashing heads. Sony want a live action movie out next year. They haven't even fucking started filming yet. Like it's very unrealistic. Like they'd have to get Tom Holland in the suit tomorrow if they wanted a movie to be out next year. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, it just doesn't seem very likely. But new reports are saying that some of these leaks and rumors might actually be in relation to a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4. Because a lot of people are hearing now that Sam Raimi is going to be returning to direct more for the MCU. Rumor has it he might be one of the new directors for one of the new Avengers movies, 5 or 6, or maybe both, which I think would be pretty wild. And there was like rumors maybe a year ago that he was wanting to sit down and do another Spider-Man movie with Toby. And now people are thinking like, oh, maybe a lot of these leaks that are coming out aren't actually about the Tom Holland Spider-Man 4. Maybe they're about Toby Spider-Man 4. And Toby has been rumored to be one of the main leads for Secret Wars as well. So if you're going to do a Secret Wars thing, would probably make sense to have Raimi directing and Toby back as the kind of one of the main kind of captains or whatever you want to call it. along with like Hugh Jackman, Robert Downey Jr., like all the big hitters, like like, just think about how good that would be. But apparently one of the big leakers came out and said that Andrew Garfield is down to return as well, and he 100% will return. They think that whatever they have in mind for him isn't big enough right now to actually be like the Amazing Spider-Man Part 3, but they think that he's going to reappear in a big capacity, either in Tobey Spider-Man 4 or Tom Holland Spider-Man 4. Like how odd is it that like they could have two Spider-Man 4 movies coming out around the same time, and it's going to be like two different Spider-Man, two different studios, one multiverse technically, but you could have like Spider-Man 4, which would be like the Raimi one, and then the Tom Holland one they'll probably call it Spider-Man like New Beginning or something. They give those movies a name. They haven't really, like, it was Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. They'll probably do like Spider-Man New Home or something, I don't know. But
finally found a home.
Yeah. Spider-Man apartment instead of home. But yeah, like I think it's very interesting. There's some big kind of rumors on the internet this week as well that Venom 3 is going to tie into one of these two or potentially both of these two Spider-Man 4 movies, which would be fucking insane as well. I saw a leaked set photo as well from Venom 3 during the week, and Tom Hardy was wearing the exact same clothes that he wore in the after credit scene in No Way Home. When he was in the bar in Mexico getting drunk, he was wearing those exact clothes. So obviously I would presume that's going to be the start of Venom 3, will be him going, but getting sucked back into his universe, like directly after what happened to him in No Way Home. I would presume that that's day one of shooting or whatever, or like that's like the first opening 5 minutes of the movie or something. But it's cool that they're going to reference that again. Rumor has it that even Tom Holland's going to get the symbiote by the end of Spider-Man 4, which would be fucking amazing. Again, take everything I'm saying with a pinch of salt here, guys. Like,
right.
A lot of stuff does change. Like some of the stuff that, like a lot of stuff, I always like find it interesting. Like when a movie finally comes out, a lot of the stuff that we talk about for months and months on end before the movie comes out, like a lot of it's true. Like I would say 80% of what we talk about actually does happen. But then there's that 20% that isn't true. And I wonder, is it not true? Are they fake leaks or like stuff to try and throw people off? Or do the leakers and stuff get it so right that like the studios turn around and change stuff? Because I know like Marvel in the past and Sony and stuff, they're shooting alternate endings. So if like the big ending gets leaked, they just like change the final cut, revert it to the other ending. Like we're gonna have to go with the other one because the big one leaked or whatever.
Honestly, I see it as more of a means of them making multiple takes, doing different endings, and then just letting it sit. And if one leaks, and it's like, okay, well, let's not worry about that one. Let's move on to a different one. This will work. This will be just as effective and whatnot. So, that's how I see it. I think that's like the most effective thing to do, is to make sure you have multiple outcomes for the same scene, so that like even if it leaks, I think in some cases they might still go forward with it because that's just the best one that they have.
Yeah.
So I like to reshoot based on the fact that like someone leaked something after the fact. That seems way more like costly than just having multiple takes. Um,
Yeah.
and honestly, dude, like I a lot of the things that I see in terms of like all these leaks, it makes me wonder, like, are they planting it? Like, are they essentially just planting all these things so that you'd be hyped for it? Because people, like, as much as people don't like to see leaks, there are a vast group of people that absolutely want to see all those leaks
Oh yeah.
because they're so enticed by it. And
Massively, yeah.
like you and I are included, like I don't mind seeing new things for for movies, but when it comes to video games, I hate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate it because like if it's story driven, I don't want to be spoiled on it ever.
I'm
Um,
really weird when it comes to the leaks and rumors thing. Like, if a project is a year out, I'm like, give me as much information as possible. I want to try and hype this project up. I want to try and build it up as much as I can in my head. Whereas if it's like game day or like, it's the week of, I'm kind of like, I don't want to see any more trailers. I don't want to see any of the TV spots. I don't want to know anything that happens for sure. So I do hit like a spoiler wall, but it's only like maybe a couple of days before the movie comes out or the TV show airs, or you know and like I always I say this all the time, and I was talking about this over on Twitch during the week with I can't remember who I was talking to it about, but it's talk about spoilers and stuff came up, and the conversation was kind of like, well, I don't like spoilers at all, and I kind of give people a chance to see stuff like months or whatever in advance or whatever. Like the spoiler window for them is like months away. And like my kind of argument to that is like, if you care enough about something that a spoiler is going to upset you, I think it's your obligation to see that as quick as possible, because if you get it ruined, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Like that's
Oh,
the
of
way I
course.
think of it. You know what I mean? Like if a Marvel movie comes out, I'm not waiting for it to release on Disney Plus to go see it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna watch it if it's something that I care about. Like Madam Web, I don't give a shit about. We talked about it last week. We had a great little laugh about it. I feel like I don't need to see the movie now. You know what I mean? Like I don't care. Whereas if this was like Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4, there's no way we're gonna sit down and have a conversation about it and I haven't seen it. You know what I mean? Like that's just there's priorities, like, and
Right. Of
yeah,
course.
I just think like, you need to kind of bite the bullet. If it's something that you care about and you're going to get upset if you hear a spoiler and you haven't seen it, it's your own fault. Unless it's, day one and you just haven't had a chance to see it because you're busy. Like that's fair enough. Like I always kind of said with like, Game of Thrones and stuff. I think Game of Thrones was like collectively like one of the biggest things that was watched ever, in my opinion. Like, my parents were watching it. Like I have friends who aren't into the so-called nerdy shit. Like, like I'd mates come up to me like, I hate all that like Lord of the Rings nerdy shit, but like Game of Thrones is amazing. Like that's it kind of transcended geek culture and it like just hit the mainstream. And I always found that if you didn't watch Game of Thrones like straight away, like over here it would air at like 2 a.m. on Sky, and like people would stay up and watch it because they didn't want to get it spoiled. Like that's how important the show was. So like Sunday night, everyone would be watching it at like 2 a.m. And then like the next morning, everyone would be talking about it on the bus and they'd be talking about it in work, and you'd open up Facebook and there'd be memes made already. And like, it was just so full on that I used to have to like do a media blackout, I would call it. Like I'd be like, I'm doing a social media blackout for the whole day. I have to go to work. I'm not going to get a chance to watch it till 8 p.m. the following night. So I have to like not go on social media whatsoever. And like, yeah, it's mad. Like I haven't really seen anything hit that kind of level again. But like that was always kind of like, and again, like, I know it's my own fault if I see something, if I open up Facebook by mistake or whatever, and something pops up and I see a spoiler for Game of Thrones, I would blame myself for that. I wouldn't blame the person who posted it, because it's just like, I really give a shit about this and I want to see it, like, and not have it ruined, and it's my own fault that I didn't stay up and watch it.
Oh, of course. And I mean, like, I totally understand that. Like, we have a buddy named Max Luther who constantly has those moments. He's like, "Man, I got spoiled on this anime. I got spoiled on this anime already, but I don't like, I still want to watch it, but it's like, where are you watching? Like, how are you finding all this stuff?" It's like
Yeah.
on Facebook, on Twitter. It's like, dude, get off it. Like,
Yeah.
go watch the show. Like, literally what you just said, Finto. Like, go watch it. If you're so enticed to watch something,
Yeah.
like, stay off social media for a day. Like, you don't
Yeah.
even need a week. Just take a day and
It's
then go
tough.
watch it once you get back.
It's tough though as well, like in 2024. Like I think when Game of Thrones was new, it was a lot easier to stay off Facebook for the day because it was really the only thing at the time where you would get really spoiled, I find. Maybe Instagram. But like now it's like, you can't go on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, fucking Instagram, all the like there's so many social media apps now. And I find like, it is very addicting. Like, like if you have, for me personally, like, if I have a couple of minutes downtime, like I'm gonna just do a couple of flicks on TikTok, or I'm gonna go on to Twitter, or now that I'm like, streaming and stuff like that, like I go on to check my own content. And like, you boot up the app, the first thing you see is the For You page. And if it's something that's like the app knows that you want to see, like, it's gonna throw it at you straight away. So
Oh, of
I have
course.
I have had a couple of like spoils where it's like I'm opening up an app to check on my own shit, but then it's like something gets thrown in my face right away. I'm like, fuck, and I gotta flick away real quick, like, but it's too late. Like, it's already done. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no,
I
I
guess I guess I don't fit in that category too often, man. Like, if I really don't want to be spoiled on anything, if I really like, I will literally turn off all social media. I hardly ever even hop on it anyway. The closest
yeah,
thing is TikTok, and that's just for funny shit that I send to
yeah,
my girlfriend on a daily basis. But
yeah.
even then, like, I've already like literally pushed it to just kick out anything that I don't want to see.
Mhm.
And it's actually been doing a lot better. I don't know what they're doing at TikTok, but it seems like their algorithms are getting a lot better about it. They're starting to
That's good.
realize that like we're not, people aren't really interested in seeing e-girls like doing NPC TikToks anymore. Like
Oh my god, man! I haven't seen an NPC TikTok in so long, and I can't believe I've just said it because now my phone heard it, and
I know,
I'm gonna
right?
see that. I know they're back in force, but they were gone. It was gone. I was free.
It was a
You know the
fad, dude. It was like
Oh, it was
pet rocks. It
crazy,
was like fidget spinners. Like it's literally just
man. That was
it,
a
it
crazy time. Like I completely forgot about it until you just said it, and then now I guarantee I will see one tomorrow now. But um, man, that was such a weird time online because it was just like I don't know, like, man, like, I always kind of make this joke. It's like, Thanos should have snapped twice, is what I say when I see shit like that. And I'm just like, he was right. He did snapping once wasn't enough. Like, like humanity's destroyed. But like, like even like the NPC thing was just so fucking stupid. And it got to a point where like I saw dudes like doing it on the side of the street live in like New York. Like, they'd have their phone prepped up and they'd be doing the NPC thing in the middle of the street. Like, I'm like,
but
that is just a new level of insane. I just can't make any sense of it. Like, it's actually insane.
the funniest one though that I've ever seen was the dude in the hot dog costume, like pretending to eat hot dogs. And
I didn't see that one.
for every hot dog, like coin, whatever the fuck that they throw at them, like someone I think threw 100 hot dogs. Is like, oh come on, man. And he goes,
My God.
but
I've
then
never
there's
seen it
like,
before, but I guarantee I'll see it tomorrow. I'll
and
see a clip
well,
of it or
like
something tomorrow.
they're doing suggestive shit too. Like when they do it, they're like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
That's so funny, dude.
I love. There was one dude where he was trying to do it, and his mom was like, "Please stop, please." Like we're trying to get him some help. And I'm like, I don't know if she's trying to be part of this or if she's literally being serious. And she's like, "Get him off this fucking thing."
Oh man, I think humanity's lost, dude. I really do. I was I have written down here in my notes just to talk about that. I saw a video made about Blade the other day, and I thought we haven't spoken about Blade in a while. There's a rumor going around that Mahershala Ali is like really pissed off again with the script, and I think they're looking at doing like another rewrite. Like this movie has just keeps getting delayed, rewritten, all this sort of stuff, and I think it's gonna. I think like the one of the last rewrites was due to the fact that, and I think we might have spoke about this before, but they were talking about like Blade being like a secondary character in his own film, and it was going to be about him like training up a new like female vampire who was like his daughter or some shit. And I think Mahershala Ali was just like, guys, no, we can't do this. Or I don't know if it was down to the fact of him disagreeing with it, or maybe it was down to the fact that they're kind of seeing the tides are going to have to change, and they can't be going so woke all the time. They're kind of rewriting it, going, we need to get back to basics here.
Right.
I think I heard like I can't, someone high up in Disney was just like, like we need to kind of service the fans. And like when you see something that coming out like the Deadpool 3 trailer, and it's like, this trailer does the highest number on a trailer of all time in the first 24 hours. Like that has to tell you something. Like the fan base is there. They want the original kind of content. The woke stuff is not for everybody. And it's not for the general population in the fandom. So it's like, why are you so heavily focused on it? Like I'm all for representation in every form of the word, but don't make it the whole story. You know what I mean? Like making a movie like the Marvels, for example, like you're making a movie with three characters that not very many people give a shit about, and then like they turn around and they're surprised that the movie does bad, and like one of the actresses who was in Madam Web, I don't know if you saw this during the week, she tried to blame the fan base on why the movie failed. She's like, well, it's just toxic males that are giving out about the movie. It's like, well, hang on a fucking second here. You made a shit movie. Don't go try blaming your fan base because your movie wasn't received. Like, you made a shit film. Wonder Woman Part 1 was extremely well received by the male audience because it was a
Oh
good
yeah,
fucking movie.
it was
Simple
fun.
as that. It was fun. It action packed. It was dramatic at times. Like it was brilliant. Like you know what I mean. It was fantastic, and Gal Gadot did an amazing job in that movie. Or Gadot, I don't know how you say her surname,
I think it's
but
good
like,
though. Yeah.
yeah, but like, you know what I mean? That's the proof. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. Like, and that is it. You know what I mean? Like that movie was so well received. It was very well executed, and it's a female led movie. So it's not as if like all female led stuff is just like completely bombed straight away. That's not the case. You just need to make good fucking content. You know what I mean?
Well,
And I think they're finally starting to kind of pull back a little bit on it.
well, because what I see in Madam Web's, in my opinion, is that they wanted to pick 4 beautiful women, put them on screen, and then assume that the audience, whether male or female, will just like mostly male, will look at them and be like, "God damn, they're hot," and not even care about the story at all. But like that's not the point of movies anymore. Like the point of movies is to be engaging, is to have a good storyline, is to give us something to care about. And Madam Web did none of that. And I think that it's not the base to blame. It's not like the producers, it's the fucking director. The like that the acting in that movie was so horrible that they could like they had to dub things. They had to
Yeah.
dub over different voices. They had to dub over the villain's voice because he probably had a much stronger accent, and they had to like tone it down a bit. They they had to dub over the girls because like a lot of the things that they said didn't really pertain well to like what was said previously. So like,
Yeah.
you know, things like I think the line was like things are about to get crazy. And then they another person says things really are crazy, like or things really are crazy. It's
Mhm.
very like flat, but
Yeah.
it should have been like things really are like things are crazy now, like kind of situation. But it just doesn't come out that way because the director isn't doing shit. She's just like go, and then they do what they want, and then they're like great next scene. And so like this director, I don't remember the director's name. Like she just I think she just did a horrible job putting everything together.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much that the editing team can do before it's like we got to ship it. We fuck it. Like you got to do.
Yeah.
We got to do what we can. We'll eat this shit sandwich. We'll smile. Like we're gonna have to bear with it.
Yeah.
It's just. But like again, going back to the situation, it's like oh, you're just like all men looking at beautiful women, and you think like they're doing a horrible job just because like no, it's not that. It's just the direction. The
Yeah.
director fucked up. Everything went to shit. Like I don't care if it's Sydney Sweeney. I don't care if it's those other 2 women who have absolutely no like, I don't know who they are. They never
Yeah.
put them out as like people that we should care about. You
Yeah.
know,
I don't know.
they
Don't even know their names.
right. And it's just it's so fucked because it's like all I wanted was for you to try to make something out of nothing and you couldn't. You
Yeah.
took a turd and you polished it and it's still a turd. It's like, what did they have for story? Like I don't want to get too deep into Madam Web, but what did they have for story? Like Finto, like seriously, like when you think about it, like
Do
when
you?
you think about Madam Web in the 90s Spider-Man like show,
Yeah.
how much of her do you actually remember?
Not a lot because it was she wasn't like that important, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
She's
she was
kind of
just a
a
secondary character, right?
she's yeah, like she's a tool like to access the multiverse basically, you
Right.
know? And that was cool. It was great.
Yeah.
Do you ever I don't know if you've ever seen there's a YouTube channel called Pitch Meeting. Do you ever watch the pitch meetings?
No.
Oh my god. I might actually because I don't really have much else to talk about in this podcast. I think we should listen and watch together live the pitch meeting for Madam Web. You might have to mute yourself, man, because you're gonna laugh so much during this. Like it is absolutely fantastic. Shout out to the pitch meeting, dude. Um, he has an amazing channel, and you're probably gonna end up watching a load of it now. That I said you on this, I'm putting you
Oh,
down
dude,
the rabbit hole.
I'll look it up.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, you got to, dude. You got to. But I'm gonna play one now, and yeah, look, we'll watch this. We're gonna have a laugh about it, and then maybe we'll end the cast because I don't really have anything else to talk about tonight. Bit of a slow week, but here we go. If you're listening to us, I apologize, guys, but yeah, it is what it is. Maybe head over to YouTube and you can watch this with us. Here we go.
So, you've got a Spider-Man adjacent movie for me?
Yes, sir, I do. I was thinking we'd make a Madam Web movie.
The word web sounds Spider-Man-y. I'm gonna greenlight this right away. So she's like a female Spider-Man?
No,
Oh.
but this movie is going to have 3 girls that eventually become Spider-Women.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah, well, they're normal the entire movie, but we will kind of see it once in a flash-forward vision thing.
That's enough for me to heavily lean on in the trailer.
A little misleading.
I believe the term is female-led, not misleading, and she can be any height, really.
Never mind.
So tell me about this Spider-Man movie. It's all, we're connected to it. We're a part of that.
Well, at the beginning of the movie, there's going to be a heavily pregnant woman in the Amazon trying to find a spider that gives you superpowers.
How does she know it gives you powers?
By knowing it. But then when she finds it, the bad guy of the movie, Ezekiel, shoots her and steals it.
Oh, very mean. What's this bad guy's deal?
Well, he was in the Amazon with Madam Web's mom when she was researching spiders just before she died.
Oh, good sentence. I'm going to put that almost verbatim in the trailer.
Thank you. Then these Peruvian spider people save the baby's life.
Another banger of a sentence.
So then, like 30 years later, the baby Cassandra is grown up and working as an EMT in New York City.
How did the Peruvian Amazon spider people ship her back to New York City?
Amazon Prime, I don't care.
Okay.
And hurry
Yeah.
That's the guy we're always killing.
Yeah.
Oh man, this movie's
We're
gonna be
always killing.
so Spider-Man adjacent. People are gonna love how much this almost involves Spider-Man.
Yeah, and so one day Cassie falls into some water and has a near-death experience.
Those can be fatal.
I mean, no, they're not. But anyway, Cassie develops the ability to see the future, kind of, sometimes.
Oh, she does.
And then one day she has a vision of another EMT dying in a car crash. So she tries to stop him, but he's like, okay, you're crazy. And he drives off anyway and dies.
Didn't she kind of cause that by slowing him down and making him leave later than he would have without her involvement?
Hey, shut up. So then one day she sees a vision of these 3 girls and Ezekiel is killing them in a subway.
Why does he want to kill them?
Because he's been having visions of them eventually getting powers and killing him. So he's got to kill them now before they destroy everything he's built.
What has he built?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't written any dialogue for this guy. I figure we just shoot the movie and then I'll figure out something after and we'll just re-record every single one of his lines in ADR.
Won't those not match the actor's lips?
Oh, listen, sir, I don't know how any of this works. So anyway, then Cassie saves the girls.
I don't know about this.
Ezekiel has a Spider-Man looking suit you could put in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So Cassie steals a taxi and brings these 3 girls to the woods in New Jersey, but she hears on the radio that she's now wanted for kidnapping.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and she's like, I don't want to be doing this. I hate helping people.
Why did she become an EMT?
Unclear. So then one of the girls mentions that Ezekiel crawled on the ceiling like a spider. So Cassie's like, oh, okay, you 3 girls stay in these woods. I'm going to go look at some papers for 3 hours.
What?
Well, see, Ezekiel has access to surveillance cameras all over the place, so the forest really is the safest place for little girls.
Why'd you say that like that?
Anyway, they decide to walk to a nearby diner and dance on some tables.
So they're not traumatized by almost being murdered by a spider person?
No, they want to eat food and flirt with teenage boys.
Well, okay then.
But then somebody in the diner is reading a newspaper with an article about the kidnapping, so he calls the cops.
A newspaper article about a thing that just happened a couple of hours ago in a different state.
Yes, and so then Ezekiel tracks them down.
Uh-oh.
But Cassie has a little vision about this, so she hits him with the stolen taxi.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And then she's going to teach the 3 girls CPR, because that's going to come into play later. It's like Chekhov's CPR class.
Oh, you're doing some 3-shadowing.
Isn't it foreshadowing?
It's not up to that level, I don't think. No.
That's fair. Anyway, now Cassie has to go to Peru for a dump.
Kind of a long way to go for a bathroom break.
No, it's an exposition dump.
Like she does it on a canvas?
No, she tracks down the spot in the Amazon where her mom died and meets with a dude who was there and gets all the information we in the audience already have.
Oh, okay. How does she find the exact spot?
She had a Polaroid picture of a tree.
Okay, that's basically coordinates.
So she has a vision about her mom, and now she's not mad at her
It's
about
horrible,
researching
dude.
spiders anymore.
Wait, isn't she wanted for kidnapping? How'd she drive a stolen taxi to the airport and get on a plane to Peru?
Well, I mean, airport security was a lot more lax in 2003.
Well, you know. That's famously untrue.
Well,
And how did Ezekiel not track her on all the cameras?
reasons. Anyway, while she was gone, she left the girls with Ben Parker and his very pregnant sister-in-law, Mary Parker.
She's pregnant with the whole reason we're making these movies.
She sure is, but then Mary goes into very premature labor, so they all have to go to the hospital, including the girls.
I mean, why do the girls need to go too?
So the rest of the movie can happen.
Okay.
So Cassie gets back from Peru and has to go help the girls with her stolen cab.
Wow. Well, I mean, this guy's basically evil Spider-Man. If she could just kind of see the future a little bit sometime, it's going to be tough to fight him.
Actually, it's going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see, now she steals an ambulance and crashes that through a wall into him.
So her powers are seeing the future and then also Grand Theft Auto.
And attempted vehicular homicide
Basically.
with said thefted auto. Yeah.
Very cool. Didn't somebody probably need that ambulance, though?
I don't care. So then there's going to be a big final fight.
None of the characters are capable of fighting him, though, right?
That is correct. And there are no more stolen cars in play. So they lure him into a firework factory and set it all up to explode.
I saw that in a cartoon once.
Same here. So Cassie uses her vision powers to help them dodge Ezekiel's attacks. And then also she can be in multiple places at once now.
Oh, she can?
Yeah, the guy back in the jungle told her when you take on responsibility, great power will come.
Oh, that's kind of like the famous line.
Yeah, exactly, but not as good. And that unlocked powers for some reason.
Sick.
And then I figured this is the perfect opportunity for some product placement for your partner, Pepsi.
But in the middle of a weird firework fight?
Yeah, see, I figure a giant neon Pepsi sign falls on the bad guy and he dies.
Oh.
Just a giant S falling on him, a giant P. Getting a giant P on you is tight. And so that's the end of the voiceover, bad guy. But then Cassie falls into some water and gets a firework in the face.
Oh.
So it's time for the girls to do some CPR and save her life.
Oh, from the two shadowing.
Yeah, now she's totally fine, except she's blind and in a wheelchair forever.
What, from a firework?
Yeah, but she's perfectly happy. She cracks a little joke about Ben thinking that being an uncle is like all fun and no responsibility, but she knows what's coming.
She knows that he and Peter's parents are going to die, and instead of saving them, she's joking about it?
Yeah, really funny stuff. And then we're also going to tease a future where Madam Web and those three Spider Women fight crime together or something.
Yeah, how are they going to get powers?
Unclear, but won't it be fun to see them all in a future movie together?
Maybe. I don't know these people.
Very fun. So what do you think?
Hey, listen, you plop
Never
some
gonna
Spider-Man related stuff onto film and you've got yourself a movie, I think. I don't really know what superhero fans like.
Let's hope it's this.
Hi, everybody.
Dude is a legend. Legend.
So
Like that's
big
spot
shout out.
on.
yeah, big shout out to Pitch Meeting for that. Really appreciate that video. Like, dude, like as much as I wanted to laugh, I was more infuriated by the fact
Yeah,
that that's probably what they talked about.
yeah.
And that's probably like I don't know what these story writers did, but every little bit of information that he just popped up with just reminded me further how much they didn't they didn't give a shit about
Yeah.
any of the story whatsoever. Like when he was recalling like what the villain does, that just hit my brain too. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he does. Like, is he a stock trader? Like, did he make a bunch of money in stocks? Like, what? He's
I
not
love-
selling the spider.
I love the line that he says where he's like, she read it in a newspaper about a crime that was committed in a neighboring state a few hours earlier. It's like, when did they print the paper? You know,
And
it doesn't even make any
immediately, like
sense.
the fucking reporter saw it and he's like, print. Let's
Yeah,
go.
and then it
Let's get
ended up
this
in a,
shit
in a cabin in the woods as well. The paper's just there. It's like, who bought it?
And dude, like I gotta tell you, like this is the most like we didn't care about the villain's like strength
Yeah.
moment. What like the fact that Pepsi fell on to the villain and killed him, like he squashed a spider. Like,
yeah.
dude, like Peter's been hit by multiple shit. Like it's essentially the kind of the same like outcome of durability. Like he clearly he gets hit by trucks and cars and he's
Yeah.
fine. Like they're speeding. Like, yes, this is gravity falling onto you and it's a large P, but it's like a fucking like ambulance.
Yeah.
Like if you get hit head on with an ambulance as a human, a normal human, chances are you have a lot of internal bleeding, some hemorrhaging, you're fucked. Like you're going to the hospital immediately. If you
Yeah.
can get up after that, getting hit with a P is fine.
Yeah, I think
Like,
so.
fucking ridiculous, man. Like
But again, it's like they didn't explain how he has his powers. Are his powers the same as Spider-Man? Like, what's his power level? Like, you know what I mean? Like, usually they do
it's
that
the
in
same
movies.
thing.
Yeah,
It's
he's
like
meant
it's
to be as,
exactly the same.
but is he meant to be at like the same power level as Peter Parker? Like,
He's somewhat stronger every now and then.
okay, but like again, they need to kind of, and like if a movie or a character is told properly, you get opportunities to see the power levels, and then it makes more sense when they fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because you kind of know where they stand on the power scale. But the
but they
fact
did-
is
but
that
they
they
don't
did not
have any. They don't have
exactly,
any heroes.
exactly.
They have
Work.
humans. Like
Yeah.
like this premonition shit is not a power. You can't make a hero out of this premonition shit and then just escape things. This is literally just a thriller. Like
Uh,
it's like I don't consider it like like a superhero movie. It's not at all. It's more of like an action thriller that's like it's almost like espionage shit as well. Like they're trying to like figure shit out, trying to find out like get to the bottom of things with Ezekiel Sims, which by the way, they did a horrible job. I forgot his name was Ezekiel Sims throughout the whole fucking movie. I forgot his name. I just kept calling him Spider Person. The fact that the fact that they, you know, didn't explain how the baby got back to like the United States is amazing. Like, how does she not have like a green card? Like, how do we not know? Like she was born outside of America. Like, did they transport her and then put her into a hospital and then like forge papers to make her a citizen? Like, what like this made absolutely no fucking sense. She would have never been able to get back to the US. She would have stayed stuck in the South American like wherever the fuck she was. Can't even remember because I don't give a shit. It's like
yeah,
it's that bad, dude. Like it's like it would make sense to me if like another like if they had like if the dude had been like, take this baby and gave it
yeah,
to a woman who can be like, I was pregnant a moment like a while ago. I'll take her. I'll pretend like, we just
yeah,
had the child. Like we need to get the footprint and whatever. We need to get the information for a birth certificate and like set it up. Like, give us a reason. And I know that's like a bit more than you can chew, but at the very least, like it should have been this like weird situation of like, give me the spider. He takes the spider, doesn't kill her, you know, but she knows that he's like he exists or something, and then has the child. Maybe she dies during childbirth anyway.
yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's so fucking convoluted. It's so bad.
I've
I,
been seeing a couple of clips online of people's reaction in the theater watching it, and they're just like laughing. Like you can hear the whole crowd laughing as if they're watching a comedy movie. And I really do think that this movie is gonna hit like kind of cult status of just being so bad that it's good, sort of thing. Um, I like again, I know I will hate myself for watching it, but I have to watch it at some point. I just
of
refuse to pay.
course.
I'll wait for it to stream somewhere for free, and I'll have a good laugh. It'll be like a comedy movie. Um, but yeah, like I just, oh man, like, and I don't know if you saw it, but like Sydney Sweeney did like SNL a couple of days ago, I think, and like
Yeah.
she makes a joke at the start where she's like, you may have seen me from Euphoria, you may have seen me in that new rom com movie she's in with Glenn Powell, Anyone But You or something, I think it's called. And then she's like, but you definitely didn't see me in Madam Web, like, so she's like, she's just tearing that movie apart. And I think it's actually still in theaters, isn't it? Or I don't
I,
even know. Probably is.
I'm assuming so. Like it's probably trying to make as much money as it can for the time
Yeah.
being. But like my hat's off to Sydney Sweeney on this because like I honestly think that her dumping on it at this point is going to make her career even stronger.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't her fault.
No,
It
no.
wasn't any of the like honestly, it wasn't any of the girls' fault. It was the director's fault. Because
Yeah.
like no, like even Adam Scott, who is a seasoned actor and comedian, like did terrible lines because like there was just no good direction.
Mhm.
Mike Epps, I didn't
He-
like fucking
he's a-
horrible.
He's a good actor, like, and Sydney Sweeney's got like a lot of reputation at the moment as well, like not just from her looks, but like I think like she's meant to be quite good as an actress. So like, and like Dakota Fanning as well, or sorry, not Fanning, Dakota Johnson. She like is she's got like a bit of reputation as well. Like I think she's been in some good stuff over the years as well. So like, it's not as if they just like picked good looking people and just went with it. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
they did. They
well,
absolutely
as in, I think like Dakota, for example, like she's been in some stuff that like, I don't think I've seen her in anything, but I presume she's been in some stuff that would be, classed as quite good or directed quite well and would give off a better fucking performance than this movie anyway.
Right. I mean, like it's at this point now that I think I might need to look into these different shows and movies that they've been in and see what kind of range they actually have. Because for all I know, I'm defending them and not realizing that they're actually terrible. But that does not get rid of the fact that the director could not, do a good job of at least making it somewhat believable.
Yeah. So like the Euphoria show, which I haven't watched, it's a HBO show. I think it's like about college girls and stuff and drugs and all this shit. But like Zendaya is like the main actress in it. It's on it's got an 8.3 on IMDb, which like is very good rating for a TV show.
Yeah, it's really good.
And Sydney Sweeney's like in a good few episodes. Like, I think she's in like almost every episode of that show. So I think that's kind of where she became famous. But and I've heard she's quite good in it. But I don't know if that's just people like wanting to marry her or whatever. But
Look, man, like I'm not trying to sound sexist. I'm not trying to sound like, excessive about being a man, but you shake some titties at me, I'm gonna have a hard time paying attention.
she's
Like,
a good looking woman. Like obviously, I think she's probably getting some roles for that reason. Fair enough. Power to her. Flaunt it. And like she's like I've seen some like interviews with her, like like clips of her on red carpets and stuff like, and she'll like joke about like her tits being real and all, like, and like she seems kind of funny, like, and the fact that she's getting like that role in that rom-com movie, I watched it, like it was good. It was fine, like it wasn't bad, like so I'm like, I think she'll kind of land in that kind of rom-com world for a little bit. Maybe she'll get a chance to be a Spider-Woman down the line in a multiverse story or something. I don't know. Like, if anything, I think if anyone's going to show up somewhere, maybe it'll be her just for the star power. You know what I mean? Like, just randomly put her into a multiverse story or something, or like, give her an animated role into Spider-Verse 3 or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like her voice Spider-Woman in that or something. Like, I think that'd be kind of cool.
yeah, I mean, but I just feel like it's so smudged now. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's hard for me to want to take that seriously. Because like if they're really trying to like make us take women seriously, which they're doing a shit job because they've not made a good like strong character, like whether male or like even male, like in some cases, like there's no strong male characters now. It's very much been put down quite a bit.
Oh,
It's so hard for us to find a strong character in general, like whether it be male, female, non-binary. Like I don't give a shit. Like give us a character that we care about.
Yeah, and I think this is like part of the reason why the Reacher show was so successful on Amazon, like with Alan Richardson, because like he's just so jacked, and it's like a testosterone-driven show, like, and he's going around beating the fuck out of people, and he's like this big macho dude. And I think a lot of people are just so worn out with all the woke stuff and all the agendas that these big companies are doing. Like, there's no conspiracy about this stuff. Like, this is genuinely happening, like in Hollywood. And I think a lot of people are just fucking sick of it. Like, like there's certain categories of movies where it's like, superhero movies are a prime example. Like, me personally, like, I love watching Superman because he is a jack dude that, like, people aspire to be, you know what I mean? Like superheroes, Batman, fucking, all these dudes, like Thor, all these guys, like, they're all like jacked fucking superheroes, and you watch it because it's entertaining, like, and it's, you strive to be more like them, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want people that are just like demasculine, like their masculinity is just like stripped away from them just because it's woke. Like, it's destroying the fucking category. Like, and I think the fact that, a show like Reacher comes out, which is like, I watched it, like, and I swear to God, like, no joke, I remember like thinking to myself, like, I watched the first scene of season 2, and it's like he beats the fuck out of this like carjacker or something, and I'm like, yes, this is like fucking epic. I'm like, Reacher, like, I actually like was just like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, I was like, this is epic. Like, it's like kind of brings back like to the magic of like watching like action movies like in the 90s and 80s and stuff like that, where it was like, like the fucking big macho dude like Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever, like, like he just saves the day. and like there's a market for that. And the fact that Reacher has done so well in season 2, like the show's not great. Alan Richardson's like he's an okay actor. He's not amazing, you know what I mean? Like, but it's just the fact that he's a big macho dude. He's going around kicking the fuck out of people, asking questions later. Like, there's a clear market for that stuff. You know what I mean?
But you also think about it, like thinking about it now, in Game of Thrones, the women were fucking powerful characters.
Yeah,
Those
absolutely.
were characters to be feared. Those and then they look great, but they are so fucking like powerful with their words and their knowledge. Like they're just so they're so conniving in that sense for one, but also very compassionate for the other. It shows both lines, which I think is so awesome.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And it really goes to show like you can write women to be like not just beautiful but like also powerful. Like Daenerys was so cool. Yeah, like she was portrayed as someone who was going to be taken advantage of at the beginning, but then she learned to become strong and she
That's what
became
made
like
her.
this.
That's what made her
Yeah,
strong. Yeah.
and she just turned into this powerful force that could have been like indestructible,
Mhm.
and then they ruined it at the end.
Yeah.
Like it's so bad. Like you see, oh god, I forgot her name. Cersei. You see Cersei, and it's like she's so fucking conniving and manipulative, but she's just so good at like putting herself out there as like innocent at times, and it's just like this infiltration that she does. She has so much power behind the scenes, and it's so amazing. I think it's so good when they
Yeah.
showcase that. And
Agreed.
like it fucking like it works so well. Like those two characters are like honestly so good. Um
Agreed.
Sansa, like at the beginning, like I absolutely hated her. I thought that she was gonna be like just horrible. But they did it so well because they made her into this more of this redeeming character that becomes such a powerful force. And seeing her as like kind of basically the Queen of the North, which I think that's okay. I think that's a good idea. It showed how much she has grown, like how quickly she had to grow. Even Arya had to grow way faster than Sansa. Like
Hmm.
and she was like working at the temple of no, like is it no faces, like the
I can't remember.
but like essentially she becomes an assassin. Like they were really bringing up these women as such powerful characters. Even even the women of Dorne, remember, like
Yeah, they were class.
they were
They're-
fucking insane. Like they could murder you.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
good.
I hate talking about Game of Thrones, man, because it was like so good, and then it just like fell so bad. It'll go down in history as like such a flop, like for the last, like for the ending. It's like, oh Jesus, man! Like just to think, like
Well,
they built it up for so long, and then just ruined it.
it
You know,
was
like
the to me it was the point when Arya took out the Night King and
yeah,
not Jon Snow. Like it
they didn't
that
even have
was
a
Jon
fight. They didn't
Snow's.
even fight.
That was Jon Snow's
Yeah,
fight. And
yeah,
they gave it to Arya, and I'm like, she
like
doesn't deserve that. She hasn't been
yeah,
fighting the North. Like,
yeah. Even let the two of them fight and John get the shit kicked out of him, and
yeah.
he's about to like be killed, brought to the
And
brink
then
of
she
death,
comes
and
in.
then she comes in and saves the day.
Yeah.
I would still hate that too, but at least that would make more sense. At least give us the
Well,
fucking fight of the
well,
century,
no.
like
Well, dude, like, no, I would love that because when you think about it, it's them bonding again. It's like the brothers and sisters coming together, what remains of, the uh God, I forgot their names.
Starks.
The Starks, what remains of the Starks. Like
Yeah,
it really puts it together. It's like we see you as one of our own now, in the sense.
yeah,
And just showing that they're willing to jump into the fray and help him out. But to do it like an individual fight between like Arya sneaking in on the Night King and just fucking taking him out, it's like, oh, dude, like, do you not understand how important it was for John to at least get to see him and fight him and have a struggle
yeah,
to show us this like finale of like, oh my god, he's
yeah.
finally going to be able to do it.
And then even if he loses, he's still the man who went up against the king and survived to tell the tale. Like, you know what I mean? Then he
Right.
still has the cred, even though he didn't get the kill, because most people wouldn't hear that when the tales are being told for years on end after. Like, ah, man,
and and then
pisses
it
me off.
drives Yeah, of course. And then it drives an even stronger moment of like Arya kills the Night King after Jon falls from being beaten, but he
Yeah.
doesn't die. Like he's on the brink, he's about to. Arya saves him, kills the Night King, and then she disappears because she knows that like Jon needs to have this moment like to get his cred, basically
Yeah.
get his like not redemption but his reputation to
Mm.
skyrocket, because Arya doesn't want that kind of shit.
Do you know what Arya
So-
could have done as well? She could have morphed into Jon and killed as Jon. Either.
That would
And then
have been
it's
cool
like,
too. I would have
yeah,
been so stoked about that.
yeah, it would have been deadly. You know, like again, like they built up her character for like 2 years to have all these amazing powers, and then she rarely used them.
Right.
Oh man, I can't talk about this show.
I know,
man.
and I know.
It's
We're
so
gonna get into
fucking
a tirade
Yeah.
about it.
No, I can't. Look, I think we should end it there for the week. You know, next week we've got Dune Part 2. I think it's going to be a good cast next week. You know, we'll go pretty deep on the lore of this movie. I think we could probably sit and talk about it for 45 minutes or so. Keep an ear to the ground if there's any nerdy news that you want to bring up next week. Massive shout out to anybody who was here live, anybody who's watching a replay. Leave us a comment below, let us know what you think. If you're listening to us on like Spotify or Apple or anything like that, leave a rating. It really helps the podcast grow in this giant sea of podcasts that there are on the internet. And yeah, that's it. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye.